Sure. So timer, can we have the report? Do all the speakers qualify?
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day. All speakers qualify except for Toastmaster Pinky. She has exceeded the grace period. So all qualify except for Toastmaster Pinky.
Okay, and are we going to create a poll right now?
We'll be having the poll towards the end.
Okay, thank you. It's time for the most awaited session by our keynote speaker. Before I call him up, I have two instructions for all the participants over here. Number one, at the end of the keynote speech, we will be having a 5-minute question and answer session. For that purpose, I request all of you to kindly share your questions with our DTM, Alicia Lagdawala, who is the moderator of question and answer session, and she will be taking few questions at the end of this speech. Make sure same questions or the repeated questions will not be asked again. Secondly, keep your best smiles ready, because after that, we will be taking a group picture with our wonderful speaker. But who our speaker is? Yes, let me tell you that our speaker is an award-winning international speaker and trainer, JJeffley. He is not only a speaker, but a professional coach, an author, a musician, a father, and a minister. He is a 2-time District 57 table topic champion. Wow. He is a 2-time finalist in the Toastmasters. He is a 2-time finalist in the Toastmasters World Championship of Public Speaking, 3 times District 57 International Speech Contest champion. May we have the music and the slide together? Please put your hands together to welcome JJeffley. Success is spelled with 3 C's. Success is spelled with 3 C's. JJeffley. Over to you, sir.
Can everyone see me? Can you hear me?
Yes, Toastmaster James, you're audible and the slide share is up already. Good to go.
Wonderful, thank you. One moment, please. Assalamu alaikum, adab, namaste, and greetings, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. My name is James Jeffley. One moment. There we are. But in some circles, I'm not known as James Jeffley. In some circles, I'm known as Reverend Up. And I have a catchphrase that I like to use, and I would invite you to say that catchphrase with me now. So if you're in a room with someone else, please turn to that person, and I would like you to say to them with power, clarity, and conviction, up yours. Allow me to explain. The first time I said this in front of a large group of people was in the semifinal round of the World Championships of Public Speaking back in 2014 in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I was standing on the stage and I said this and people burst out laughing. It was such an uproar. And that, at the time, was a harbinger of my success because that speech propelled me into the finals of the World Championships. I said it a second time in the finals of the World Championships in 2015 in Las Vegas, Nevada. And the same thing resulted. People laughed and they really had a good time with it. Allow me to clarify. I don't mean up yours as an insult. I mean it as an invitation. It is an invitation to raise every part of your life up to a higher level of peace, a higher level of satisfaction, a higher level of success, a higher level of consciousness. And as I work to up mine, the things I want to share with you today hopefully will help you up yours. Eckhart Tolle once said, if the only prayer you ever say in your entire life is thank you, it will be enough. And at this moment, I would like to say thank you to Toastmaster Farida and to the entire United Toastmasters Meeting Core team and everybody involved in creating this amazing event, bringing people together from around the globe to share ideas and information with each other. So a thumbs up, a hand, a round of applause. Thank you, thank you, thank you to the United Toastmasters Meeting team. Well done. When Toastmaster Farida reached out to me to ask me to do the keynote, my first thought was, great, wow, what an honor. I get to come before Toastmasters and distinguished guests from more than 5 countries, from people around the globe. What an honor that is. My second thought was, what do you want me to talk about? And she said, we want you to talk about success. I said, what kind of success? She said, personal success and professional success. I thought, okay. Then my next thought was, why me? Why should I come before you to talk about success? I mean, I'm not some chiseled bodybuilder or famous athlete. I'm not some rich billionaire with private airplanes and fancy cars and tons of money. I'm not even a world champion of public speaking. So what could I possibly offer you in terms of advice around success? And then it dawned on me that success is in the eye of the beholder. What looks like success to you may not look like success to someone else or to me. And so I look at my life and I think, well, maybe to others, I've had a modicum of success in certain areas. So let me share what I think I know about that with you. Let me ask you a question. What does success look like to you? What is your vision of success? To some people, success looks like having a lot of money, just making it rain. For others, success looks like having enough food to eat today. For some people, success looks like having a really nice big house. For others, success looks like just having a safe shelter to sleep in today. For some people, success looks like having a big, powerful, fancy car. For others, success looks like just having shoes to walk in today. For some people, success looks like having a big family, grandparents, parents, sons, daughters, grandkids, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, cousins, oh my. For others, success looks like just having one person in your life who cares about you today. For some people, success means the freedom to do anything you want. And for others, success means just returning home without being killed by the police today. For many of us in Toastmasters, especially those who participate in contests, success for us might look like standing on the big stage and winning the world championship of public speaking. For others, it might look like just showing up to a Toastmasters meeting and not throwing up during table topics. We all have a different version of success. And so whether our dreams are big or small, I think there are 3 things necessary for success in any area of life. I'll share those with you now. And this is why I think success is spelled with not 2, but 3 C's. Here's the first C of success. Courage. There was a spiritual teacher by the name of Osho who once said, courage is a love affair with the unknown. He said, You cannot be truthful if you're not courageous. It requires courage to tell the truth, yes? He said, you cannot be loving if you're not courageous. It takes courage to love, yes? He said, you cannot be trusting if you're not courageous. It takes courage to trust, yes? And he said, you cannot inquire into reality if you're not courageous. Because the moment you start asking questions about your reality is the moment you open yourself to the possibility that your reality and everything you thought you knew could change. Hence, courage comes first and everything else follows. So, ladies and gentlemen, what part of your life is asking for courage from you right now? What part of your life wants you to take a step, a bold step forward and say, yes, I'm willing to claim my vision? What part of your life is asking you to ask the question, to take the risk? What part of your life is asking for courage? And what if you were just a little more courageous? The second C in success is competence. Whatever you want to have, do, or be in life, whatever your vision is, requires a certain level of competence to achieve that and to sustain that. And I think there are three pillars for competence. The first one is knowledge. You must gain knowledge, new knowledge, cutting edge knowledge, maybe old knowledge. But if you want to be competent in any area of your life, knowledge is required. But knowledge is not enough. Once you obtain knowledge, you then must obtain skills. You must apply that knowledge and practice it and hone those skills until you're able to consistently repeat the desired results, which is the third pillar of competence, consistency. You see, ladies and gentlemen, there's an old adage that says knowledge is power. I've come to learn in my short time on the planet that is not true. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge is only potential power that becomes real if you use it, if you apply it, if you turn it into a skill and you apply that skill consistently. Some of you might be asking, but James, how long is all of this knowledge accumulation and skill building and practice going to take? It's almost like thinking we can microwave success. What I've discovered is often success is not microwavable. Success is a crock pot. Success is something that it takes an oven. It's not always immediate. But to answer the question, you need only look in Malcolm Gladwell's book, Outliers, The Story of Success. He says that experts have determined that it takes approximately 10,000 hours of deliberate practice to become an expert. Not just to learn how to do something or get good at it, but to become an expert at it. Well, how much is 10,000 hours in real time? Well, if you do the math, that's about 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, for 44 weeks a year, for about 5.5 years. In plain talk, it's a full-time job for around 5 years. But think of how much better you'll be if you devote that level of consistency and knowledge and skill to your craft. Some of you might be thinking right now, I better get started. What part of your life is asking you for competence, for new knowledge, for skill building, for consistency? And what if you gained that knowledge and you developed those skills and you became more consistent? So we talked about having courage. We talked about being competent. Here's the third C in success, and it's confidence. Now, when I say confidence, I don't mean arrogance. There's a difference. Arrogance is revealing an exaggerated sense of one's own importance or abilities. You think you're all that. You think you can do superhuman things, but there's no proof. There's an old saying in the United States, in Texas, all hat and no cattle. a person who talks a big game, but they have nothing to back it up. That is arrogance. What I'm talking about is different. What I'm talking about is confidence. And confidence is a feeling of self-assurance arising from your appreciation of your own abilities or qualities. In other words, it's not bragging if you know you can do it. It's not arrogant if you can pull it off consistently, successfully. It's trusting in yourself, having faith in yourself. That's confidence. I'm part Native American, and there's a quote from a tribe in America called the Lakota. And in the Lakota way, they said, when choosing a leader, we always kept in mind that humility provides clarity, where arrogance provides a cloud. And the last thing we wanted was to be led by someone whose judgment and actions were clouded by arrogance. Henry David Thoreau, the famous author, once said, if you march confidently in the direction of your dreams and endeavor to live the life you have only imagined, you will meet with success unexpected in common hours, and you will live with the license of a higher order of being. Ladies and gentlemen, what part of your life is asking for confidence? What part of your life is asking you to take a bold step forward right now? What part of your life is asking you to trust and believe in yourself? And what if you did? So those are the 3 C's of success: courage to take the risk, competence to develop the skills and to achieve consistently desired results, and finally, the confidence as the container for all of it. So whether you want to climb a mountain or your vision of success is just climbing the stairs without passing out, or your vision is to have a bank account that's full or a heart that is full, whether your vision is to become a world champion of public speaking or to simply get through your icebreaker speech or the next table topic. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, success is spelled with 3 C's. Assalamu alaikum, adab, namaste, and farewell. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. I'm JJeffley, reminding you to up your success.
Thank you, sir, for a very thought-provoking speech. Now, I would request DTM Alifia to moderate question and answer session, as indeed success is spelled with 3 C's: courage, competence, confidence. Over to you, DTM Alifia.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Thank you, Toastmaster James. I'm just waiting for a few questions to come and I'll be reading it to you. Thank you. Audience, you can send your questions to me in the chat box. Audience, are you able to send a message to me as a moderator?
No, it
Somebody
says
can
the
unmute
chat
it.
box is
disabled,
disabled. The
Yes,
chat box
then you
is
can send it
disabled.
to the, but you can send it to the moderator if the chat box is disabled.
No, actually, I think the chat is disabled.
Please check again. It is available now.
Yes, it is available.
It's available.
Okay, I have received a question from Toastmaster Nasreen Sheikh, who is from District 20. Her question is, what is important, being successful in your own eyes or in the eyes of others? I repeat, what is more important, being successful in your own eyes or in the eyes of the others?
That's a great question. Thank you, Toastmaster. In my opinion, I think it's more important to be successful in my own eyes, because at the end of the day, I have to be happy with me. I have to be at peace with me, my thoughts, my actions, my impact in the world. If I'm worrying about being successful according to other people's ideas or visions, then I don't know who I really am. I'm always running around trying to do things to make others happy, to please others. And sometimes that's just not possible. So I want to focus on the things that I can do, and I want to focus on my own happiness and my own satisfaction. Thank you for asking the question.
Thank you, Toastmaster James. We have another question coming from Burhanuddin. I don't know which district he belongs to, but he's saying, how can we maintain consistency? How can we maintain consistency?
Great
How
question.
can we maintain consistency? Yes.
How can we maintain consistency? I think pick one thing, just pick one thing and make that a ritual. Many of us have been impacted by COVID-19. And I recently moved, and where I moved to, I moved the weekend right before we went into shelter in place. And so I thought, how am I going to manage this? Because I like being around people. So I said, I'm going to pick one thing to focus on every day and have that be my ritual. Otherwise, I could go stir crazy. So my one thing is I make my bed. Every day, regardless, I get up, I make my bed. That's my one ritual. Now, I have other rituals, but that's one that is inviolate for me. I must do that because that helps ground me. That helps allow me to establish consistency. And if I can establish consistency in one area of my life, then it's possible for me to start establishing consistency in other areas of my life. Don't think you have to establish consistency with some giant goal. Pick a simple thing: combing your hair, brushing your teeth, making your bed, getting up and taking a walk, or meditating, or a few deep breaths, or whatever your practice is. But have a simple practice that you do daily. And thank you for the question.
Thank you. Let's move on. It's from Toastmaster Pinky Bharuch from District 98. In today's world, success requires hard work or smart work. What do you think? In today's world, success requires hard work or smart work?
It could be a mixture of both hard and smart work, but I tend to favor more of the smart work. If I can leverage technology, if I can leverage other people, there's an old Japanese saying that all of us is smarter than one of us. So if I can collaborate and work with others to create a desired outcome, a bigger goal, then I think that's working smarter. And if I can work smarter, that could actually replace a lot of the hard work. I think a lot of the hard work most of us had to do in the past was because we didn't have any other options. There were no tools available to us. We didn't have the social media or the internet to allow us to bring people together from around the globe to get things done. So for me, a little more smart work versus hard work. I'm not opposed to hard work, but if I can do it smarter, I'm going to go with that one.
Great answer, Toastmaster James. Let's move on. We have Toastmaster Aniket from District 98. He says, how do we distinguish between confidence and arrogance in oneself? How do we distinguish between confidence and arrogance in oneself?
How do I distinguish between confidence and arrogance in myself? That requires a certain level of self-awareness and introspection. At some point, I have to step back and ask myself, do I really know what I'm talking about? Can I really prove the things that I say? How do I know this thought, idea, or belief to be true or factual? Or is it just something that I keep spouting out consistently with no foundation? I have to question my own reality. And I'm not quite sure what it takes to get me to that. It might take a life-changing moment. It might take a friend of mine challenging me. Hey, James, do you really know that to be true? Or are you just talking out of your head? So I think it requires some self-reflection, some introspection, some self-awareness. And sometimes that can be triggered by the outside. There's some people who never achieve that. They just go through life, as the Toastmaster earlier talked about, dealing with a narcissist. There are narcissists who create their own reality and they stay within that. And they rarely, if ever, question what they think or do. They just believe what they think or do is reality, and they reject everything else.
Okay, let's move on with the next question. It is, how do you convince a Toastmaster to be confident during the current situation and boost their morale? This is by our Head of Education, Farida.
How do you convince a Toastmaster to be confident in the current situation? Are you talking about COVID?
I guess so. That's the question. Current situation and boost their morale. I think in terms of COVID, in terms of the crisis, what we are going through.
Okay. So how do you boost confidence, especially in the event, in the events that we're facing right now around the globe? I would say, number one, do a truth inventory. Look around yourself and ask yourself, what is true? Am I safe? Am I healthy? Am I well? Do I have shelter, food, clothing? Am I okay? If I'm okay, I can build on that. I can go to the next thing. If I'm not okay, then I can look at what I need to do to make myself okay, or to have others or ask others to help me get food, clothing, shelter, etc. A second thing that you can do is point out what's great about them. Point out what you admire in those other Toastmasters. And it might be something as simple as, hey, you know what I really admire? I admire your courage. You came to Toastmasters really afraid to speak, and you stood up in the first meeting and you introduced yourself, and that took courage. I admire that in you. So take a moment to admire things in other people and watch the confidence start to build in them.
Nice answer, Toastmaster James. Toastmaster Tipti Rizvi from District 79 is asking, what about faith and trust rather than the 3 C's what you have mentioned?
What about
faith
and trust
rather than the 3 C's you have mentioned in your presentation?
I guess I would ask the question, faith and trust in what? And I don't want to step on any toes here. What I would say is this: if I have faith in my own abilities, if I have trust that I know how to do a thing and how to do a thing well consistently, then that's something that I can have faith in. That's something that I can rely on. Ultimately, if I want to do or be anything in life, it's up to me to figure out how to do that. I could sit in a room all day on a chair and hope that all the things that I want come to me, and probably 99.9% of the time, that's not going to happen. Einstein once said, nothing happens until something moves. I must be the one who creates movement in my life. And if I do that consistently, and I consistently have better results, that's something I can have faith and trust in.
Wow, very nice. Okay, we have Toastmaster Harsh Mehta from District 82. He says, humility doesn't come easily. What is that one question we need to ask ourselves while behaving with others? Should I repeat?
Yeah. What's the one question we should ask ourselves when what with others?
While behaving with others.
While behaving with others. How do I become humble? How do I show humility? One of the things that I do to remind myself to be humble is to think about all of the people that don't have what I have. If you have a roof over your head, if you have clothes to wear, if you have food to eat, if you're able to meet the basic necessities of life, you have more privilege than maybe a quarter to a third of most people on the planet right now. And that would equate to billions. So if I remind myself of that there are always those who have less than I have, then it allows me to remain humble. Can I have confidence and faith in myself? Absolutely. But I can't take that to a level that becomes arrogance, because then I just start making up things. And that's it's not a good place to operate from, because at some point someone's going to challenge me to actually prove what I made up. And if I can't do that, that can be a humbling moment, which yanks me back out of arrogance and puts me back into a place of humility. So I remind myself that there are always those with less than I. Thank you.
Thank you. We are done with the question answers because the time is up. I do have another 21 questions to go, but I'm afraid that we'll not be able to answer all of them. Thank you, audience, for your active participation. I would request Toastmaster James to acknowledge all these question answers, if possible, by sending us a short video so we could post it on our YouTube, on our Facebook page, or if you can give in your email ID where we could post you these questions. How does it work?
If you could just send me a list of the questions, Toastmaster Farida has my WhatsApp and my email information. Send me the list of questions. I will reply to all of them.
Okay, and we could send it out by email to our participants. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you, and back to the Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, DTM Alifia. Picture time. As pictures are memories, so give a